Welcome to the 2019 high school football preview show with the Perry Pirates. I'm Pat Langdon.
I'm Danny Boyce.
Terry Heil.
Jimmy Simonis.
We'll give you a little review here for the Perry Pirates. They are members of the Chagrin Valley Conference. Last year, they finished 10-2, lost in the regional semifinals to Girard. They are led by head coach Matt Rosati in his 12th season. Coach Rosati's squad 84-40 under his reign. And we are now joined by junior tailback Jaylin Anderson. Jaylin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Thanks.
Good, I'm good.
So, Jaylin, noticed here recently you picked up your first big-time offer from the University of Nebraska, a school that's known for producing some pretty decent tailbacks. How big was that for you?
Oh, it was big for me because, yeah, especially they're known for the running backs, and, like, my dad loved that school growing up, so it was pretty awesome to get an offer from there.
Yeah. And you've got a returning quarterback, Drew Schiano, going to be a senior for you. How important is it for you to have returning guys around you?
It's important, especially because experience-wise, and they're pretty talented, so I feel like they could take us really far this year.
Do you have any goals that you have set for yourself this year?
This year I want to be first team All Ohio again, and I want to have over 1,200 rushing yards.
Nice. Interesting number there, 1,200. What do you think you're going to have to do, and what is your teammates going to also have to do to help you guys achieve those goals, and also kind of and really build off of what you guys had last year? Obviously a nice season. Probably not the ending that you wanted. There's only a handful of teams that actually get to finish the season the way they'd really hope. What do you think you guys are going to have to do to build upon that and get further and possibly even be playing in Canton on that first Saturday in December?
I feel like we just have to execute every single day, every game, and just do our P's and Q's, and I feel like we should be fine.
So the conference you play in is known for football. What do you guys have to do to stay at the top of the play in the CVC?
I don't know. I just feel like we just have to dominate every team we play and try to take every game and every practice and every film study seriously.
Jaylin, every good running back is to some extent only as good as the five guys in front of him. Talk about the five guys up front for you this year.
Oh, so our line has 4 returning seniors who all got varsity time last year. So they're pretty experienced and they're pretty good actually. So and we only have a junior. Then we have a junior starting also. So I feel like we should be pretty good up front.
And what do you think is the strength of that group?
I think the strength is their speed. When they can get out and pull and block downfield and all that.
Over these last 3 years, where do you feel you've most grown on the football field?
I feel like I've become much better of a leader on and off the field, and I feel like on the field I just became more experienced of what I'm doing, so it makes everything easier.
What's your favorite part about being a part of this, being a part of the group of guys that looked, earlier, you guys are, kind of, joking around with each other and all. It seems like a pretty good group. What's the part that you guys enjoy most about being together and being a part of this Perry team?
I just think the fun we have together and all the memories we make together and like all the big games we played in and all the times we had together make everything more fun.
So for you personally, what's going to be your main goal this season?
My main goal is definitely to win a state championship, but my main goal this season is just to be the best player on the field no matter every single game.
Jaylin, you guys have been in the playoffs a lot more than you haven't under Coach Rosati's reign. Do you feel that puts any additional pressure on you guys because the expectations now are that you're going to be playing at least into Week 11 every season?
Yeah, I feel like it puts some pressure because every team wants to come and play their best game against us every week. So I definitely feel like, it puts a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah. You're coming off of a knee injury, multi-sport athlete. I know you missed a couple of games at the beginning of basketball season, but any concern, any trepidation when you went back onto the basketball court that you wouldn't be where you needed to be?
No, because I actually did like a little session of physical therapy, so that definitely made everything feel better again.
Yeah, and how much do you think you benefit by being a multi-sport athlete when it comes to being on the football field?
I think definitely the experience from basketball carries over to football, and it's like both ways. Like football carries over to basketball, and I don't know, it just makes me more. I feel like football makes me more physical in basketball, and basketball makes me more shifty in football.
Yeah, and I know you're only a junior, but any idea what you'd like to study when you get to college?
I want to be some type of physical trainer or like team doctor. I don't know yet.
Excellent. Well, one of the things I always like to know is because football is very demanding, very time-consuming. You also play basketball, also very time-consuming. Schoolwork, obviously very time-consuming, a lot more time-consuming than even when I was in school or any of us were. What do you do to kind of get away from any of that and kind of take a break from everything? What do you enjoy doing?
I usually like hanging with my friends, my brothers playing the Xbox and watching movies. Definitely.
Any particular movies that you really enjoy?
Yeah, I figured out my favorite movie is Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, with Martin
And Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yeah. Awesome movie. Love those movies.
Well, Jaylin, obviously the weather isn't cooperating a little bit with us today, but we appreciate you sitting with your back getting wet a little bit.
Oh, it's okay. Thanks for having me.
But we appreciate you taking the time, and we wish you the very best of luck with your 2019 season and moving forward, young man, and we look forward to covering you this fall.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you, Jaylin.
Best of luck.
Come on around and just watch the corner. Yep. That's all right. Adventures
It's
are
going to be quite the Marx Brothers movie.
Yeah, we'll do what we have to do.
Yeah.
As long as it's not duck soup, we're good.
Right.
I was going to say more like horse feathers, right?
There we go. We are now joined by senior wide receiver Anthony Rosati. Anthony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing tonight?
Good.
So before you ask him, I want to ask, did your dad make you come here, or did you want to come here tonight?
Maybe.
Well, maybe you should take the garbage out when he tells you, my man.
So I'm going to ask you the obvious question, Matt. Playing for your father.
Yeah.
Is it a benefit or is it a little bit of a hindrance?
Benefit, actually.
How so?
He doesn't really push me that hard, so it's pretty easy, actually.
Okay. What's your favorite part about being a wide receiver here?
Catching the ball pretty much. And I like running routes a lot.
What's your favorite route to run?
Post corner.
Now, being obviously being a wide receiver over the last few years has really, kind of transformed throughout the entire state. More and more teams going to a spread offense, getting everything out there. How has the program adapt and adjusted to that, to getting more of a spread and getting guys out there and obviously getting as many people out into the pattern and opening things up for us?
Like my dad he's been working on it pretty hard, like the scheme of trying to, like a lot of pass plays.
Mm.
Like we've been working on it a while.
Okay.
So as you guys are, getting into, the summer here, and then obviously two-a-days are going to be coming and all of that, what are you most looking forward to as you and your teammates, kind of get together and start putting in what you guys want to do this year?
Can you say that again?
Sure. What are you most looking forward to as your team is getting ready to play the 2019 season, as you get together for summer ball and then two-a-days and all of that? What are you most looking forward to as your team is starting to get into
To
playing?
compete. Want to compete? Yeah. I don't feel like we've expanded our. Like we got let down last year. We want revenge. We want to do better than we did last year.
What do you think you guys are going to have to do to get to that next step? Obviously, had a nice season, but obviously the season didn't end the way you guys would hope. What are you guys going to have to do, both you individually and the team collectively, going to have to do to get to that next step?
To communicate more. We need to be more communicate more. Like we struggle with that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Matt, can you talk a little bit about what you guys have been involved in so far this summer? I think there were 7-on-7 or team camps you guys have been to.
We've been to Ohio State, Bowling Green, and last one was Ohio State, Bowling Green, and
Can you talk a little bit about the experience, what you guys have gone through, what you've learned, how you feel it'll benefit you guys?
defensively it's going to help us a lot. But we lost Mathew during it, though. Like that was our only downfall of it, pretty much.
Okay. How do you feel it will benefit you guys defensively?
Communicating, and we're not very experienced right now defensively, so that'll help.
One thing I always like to know is, kind of mentioned it earlier. You guys, obviously football is very time consuming, and obviously your schoolwork matters as well. Now, what do you do when you're done with the books, you're done with practice, and you just want to, relax and get away from everything? What do you like to do?
Play video games.
Yeah, you're
Madden.
ready. Madden, okay. Any particular team?
No.
No.
Yeah. Mathew, you're a senior, or I'm sorry, Anthony, you're a senior. Anything you're looking forward to, particularly to studying at the next level, and are you looking to play ball at the next level?
Yeah, I am. And physical education is what I'm looking forward to do.
Okay. And are you looking to play ball at the next level?
Mm-hmm.
And where are you seeing interest from? What type of schools at this point?
John Carroll right now.
Okay, so Division III.
Yeah.
Okay. And are they looking at you as a wide receiver or possibly talking about you on the defensive side of the
Wide
ball?
receiver.
Wide receiver. Okay, great.
What is like the biggest goal you have for yourself as you enter your last year of high school football?
Biggest goal is become a better person.
So what's if you could write a fairy tale ending for Perry football as you guys are stepping up to play this year, what would that be?
State championship.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple
Pretty
stuff.
simple. It
Well,
is.
we really
Yeah.
appreciate you sticking with us through the rain here, and we wish you the best of luck and look forward to covering the Pirates this coming fall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was wide receiver senior Anthony Rosati. We are now going to be joined by the trigger man, senior quarterback Drew Schiano.
Pretty decent 3-point shooter too.
Yeah, he could fill it up out there a little bit. So, senior quarterback Drew Schiano. Drew, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing this evening?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. So, Drew, you guys have a lot coming back on the offensive side of the ball. What excites you the most?
Just my weapons on the outside, and I'll have a great line in front of me again.
And, you know, the fact that if you look historically, there's been some big backs here. There's also been some quarterbacks who've thrown it all over the yard. You guys have a really nice mix with a guy like Jaylin with the wideouts that you have on the outside. What do you think that does for you in relation to most of the teams you're going to see in the CVC? What's the advantage it creates?
Just I can get it to anyone because I got playmakers everywhere I can go and just give them the ball in space and let them run.
Yeah.
As a quarterback, what do you feel is the most important attribute you bring to the huddle?
I just got to be a leader in the huddle and, like, just the leader on the field.
Ever worry with having all those weapons around that you might get you might start worrying about it? Too many decisions and too many places to go with these guys?
I haven't thought about that yet. Not really, though.
Do you feel there's any pressure to get the ball to everyone like a certain amount throughout a game?
No, not really, because people will get a lot of touches. Everyone's going to get a lot of touches with the ball.
Yeah. Drew, what do you feel is your biggest attribute to this team?
Just my ability to move in the pocket and get the ball to our weapons and throw it downfield.
Yeah. And the 5 guys in front of you. The offensive is only going to be as good as of those 5 guys. You've got 4 returning starters. Talk a little bit about the O-line.
I'm excited to have our own line. They're just faster O-line than last year. We had a great O-line last year. We're losing big kids as tackles and guards and centers, but I'm happy to have our whole line back, most of our line back.
Yeah. Multi-sport athlete. What are you looking at the next level? Are you drawing interest in football, drawing interest in basketball, both?
I'm looking to play football.
You're looking to play football. And what kind of schools are you drawing interest from at this point?
John Carroll and Mount Union.
Okay. And they're looking at you as a quarterback, or are they talking about maybe moving you?
Quarterback.
Quarterback.
Now, obviously, one of the things I want to know is when you're not playing football, when you're not doing schoolwork, what do you like to do?
Just hang out with my friends.
Yeah. Anything in particular you guys like to do?
No, not really.
Drew, can you talk a little bit about how much how supportive the Perry community has been of this team over the years?
We have great fans and great student sections at every game.
Yeah.
It's just fun to play in front of them.
Yeah. Anything interesting that the student section does from game to game?
Just themes every week.
Yeah.
Different white out, black out, red out.
You have a favorite theme from the student section?
Probably white out. That probably looks the coolest.
Okay.
It's probably pretty nice having the facilities you guys have around here too. I mean, this was really one of the first big facilities that was in the area. So I mean, how nice is it to have the turf field and they have all of the athletic equipment and facilities around?
Yeah, it's really nice just having the football field right here, and then if it starts raining like it is today, we can just go on the field house with all the basketball courts and practice in there.
When your season starts to get into play and you're going to be playing, in conference, is there a team or two in conference that you are looking most forward to matching up against?
Probably West G and Geneva. I'm looking forward to playing them.
Any particular reason why?
No, just like playing them. It's fun to play those guys.
Who's your inspiration as an athlete?
Like a football player.
Yeah, athlete.
I started playing quarterback because of my dad. He played quarterback at Kirtland.
Very cool.
Okay.
It's a good role model to have.
Yeah.
Decent program.
Yeah,
They're okay. They do okay.
They're okay. Drew, what do you think it's going to take for you guys to take the next step this year and hopefully not only get to a regional final, but get through a regional final, which has been the stopping point a little bit over the last couple of years?
I want to make it to a state championship, win a state championship. So we have to work harder in the weight room and just during the summer and just getting stronger and faster.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time in the rain here, and we wish you very, very much the best of luck. And we'll see you both here in the football field and on the basketball court, hopefully. And go Pirates!
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, that has been senior quarterback Drew Schiano. Next, we will be joined by senior wide receiver Devon Holbert. Not this guy again. How are you, Devon?
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
All right, so this is senior wide receiver Devon Holbert. We've seen you a little bit. Change colors a little bit, huh?
No, same colors.
Yeah,
Different address.
Yeah, different address. Different address. So, how do you feel with the change that you're settling in amongst your new teammates and new classmates?
Just excited. Just excited to see what the future has to bring.
Yeah, a little change of position for you this year, moving to wide receiver.
Yeah, I actually changed at the end of last season.
Right.
Started playing some wide receiver like the last 3 games.
Are you going to play safety too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. What challenges do you think that creates for you, and how do you think you'll benefit the team by being out there?
By being safety?
Both positions.
Oh, both positions. I mean, not really a challenge. I'm kind of used to it. It just playing at a little bit higher level, playoffs. Looking forward to that, and I don't know, not really nothing new.
What do you think you're going to have to do individually to help contribute to these guys who, to help them get to that next step, get them possibly play that first weekend of December in Canton?
I think just having to push them more, like in the deep weeks, like week 8, 9, 10, 11, just be there to push them and help them make them better every day at practice.
You're coming from a place that has tried to they're trying to build something.
Yeah.
And you're coming to a place that the roof's already on the building here a little bit.
Yes, sir.
What are your impressions of the new program, that you've joined here? When you got here, what was the one thing that you said, wow, this is the place?
I mean, kind of a lot of things, I kind of had a relationship with Coach Rosati in middle school, and Jaylin, me and Jaylin played football growing up, for about, I'd say 5-6 years. And I kind of just knew them because, Painesville's not too far away from here. So kind of just, kind of having a relationship with those guys, playing against them, it just kind of, I don't know, everything just fell into part, kind of.
Have there been any challenges learning like a new scheme, on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, mainly offensively, yeah. Just, kind of like more leeway, if you say.
So what have you done to continue to learn and grow in that in a matter of a few months?
Just really trying to pay attention, become more of a student from the game, learning from a different coach, so a lot more things to pick up.
Yeah.
That's it.
You have a favorite side of the ball?
Offense.
Yeah. You have a favorite sport? Pat's disappointed. Mostly you guys answer defense to that question, but that's okay.
That's all right. Hey, he's answered truthfully.
Do you have a favorite sport?
Football.
Football?
Yeah.
Is that what you hope to play at the next level?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And are you seeing more interest on the football side than the basketball side at this point?
Yeah, a lot more.
How have your new teammates taken to you? I mean, I know a couple of them, from growing up, but how is the overall sense of you coming here?
Just welcoming, they're excited to have me. I'm excited to be there. It's just good vibes. Very welcoming.
Excellent.
Your initial impression of your new coaching staff?
I mean, I knew Rosati for a couple of years now. I mean, I like all of them.
Yeah.
They're all pretty cool. Haven't really got to know them that much yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I could ask you one question about Harvey, what are you going to miss most about the program you left?
just kind of being the underdog, just kind of, not having the respect, having to go and earn, respect, which was really hard there. And I don't know. I'm gonna miss a lot. I will.
Yeah, you're almost going to the other end of the spectrum now, because with the amount of success that they've had here at Perry, there's almost a bullseye on your back every week.
Yeah, there is.
How are you getting your hands around that mentally?
I mean, I haven't really thought about that yet. Haven't really thought about it
Might
yet.
be a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a good thing.
I mean, not trying to sound like, cocky or anything, but I'm kind of used to like having a bullseye on my back. I played on a couple of good teams before.
Yes, you did.
Absolutely. So again, this is more of a statement than a question, but the lights come on here on Friday nights just like they do everywhere else.
Yep.
So once the game starts, it's about playing the game.
Yeah, no thinking, man.
Right.
I'm just ready to play. That's all.
Excellent.
So, Jaylin, what do you think is your greatest attribute to your new team?
I would say my versatility. Both sides of the ball. Believe like I said, just helping them in those late weeks. Because they know I play a lot of positions, but I can do a lot more than they've seen.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to bring that.
Yeah.
So.
And you look like you got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Like you put on a few pounds.
Yep.
So the time in the weight room here obviously has benefited you.
Oh yeah.
And I'm assuming that without giving away any trade secrets, that they probably have a couple of little trick things.
Oh yeah. You'll see him.
Yeah.
He got a bunch.
It's always good when you got somebody that can throw the football and
Yeah.
is not playing quarterback.
Right. Yeah, there may be that Holbert package. You never know. So that's all good.
Well, we really appreciate your time and
Anytime.
all the time you've given us. Every time we've asked you to come and talk with us.
Hopefully, I see you guys again. My last year.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll definitely be out here to cover game. Look forward to seeing you again, and look forward to you bringing what you bring to this new program, and hopefully the transition is seamless for you, and you have an outstanding senior year.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully we'll see you do some nice things on a basketball court too when the football season's over. So,
All right.
but we greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
So that was senior wide receiver Devon Holbert. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And now we are going to be joined by senior running back DeAndre Malone.
That's a lot of weapons that Drew Schiano
It
has
is.
there.
It is. It's one of those.
Oh,
things.
this is that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
This is the guy that wants to. What did you say? You want to shout out yourself?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So we are now joined by senior running back DeAndre Malone.
I love it, man. That's just like I would too.
DeAndre, thanks for joining us tonight.
No problem.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. So take care of your business. You want to shout out? Go ahead.
All right. Follow me on Twitter, DMalone2020.
There you go.
Any significance to the 2020 or just a grad year?
No, it's my favorite number and grad year. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Works out.
So, DeAndre, you are part of a group of skill players that is very, very, very talented group. What do you think that you bring to the table that separates you from all the guys around you?
Well, I'd like to say, like, my running style is a lot different than Jaylin's is.
Mhm.
Jaylin's more of a shifty type of running back. I'm more of a go downfield and get yards type of running back. So, yeah.
Okay.
A bit of a thunder and lightning type combination back there.
Yes, sir.
You play on the defensive side of the ball at all?
I think Coach Rosati is going to be moving me to free safety this year.
Okay.
So that'll work out.
So when Jaylin got hurt a little bit last year, I'm sure you had some increased carries.
Oh, yeah.
What did you see in your time that makes you think that you're going to be able to not only build on that but take that next step as not only a personal but as an offense?
Well, watching Jaylin over the years, I know that like he's a great running back, and like following behind him has like helped me, and like we help each other in the backfield. So like our running styles, they help combine and mesh into like a perfect style.
Having the skill guys that you got, as Terry pointed out, a very talented group you guys have. What do you think is going to be the big concern about the times when you're not going to get the ball all the time, or Jaylin's not going to get the ball all the time? What do you think? What do you think you guys are going to have to do and help contribute in the times when you're not getting the ball?
Just blocking and running our face well. I mean, I know the skill guys around us are really good, so they can make plays if we're not getting it.
Talk about the five guys up front.
Ooh, our five is we got a new five coming in. One of them played varsity last year, Jacob Holroyd, and he's an excellent tackle. I mean, running behind these guys, I trust them, so that's good.
Trust is always a great thing.
What do you feel is like your biggest strength as a running back?
My biggest strength is probably my vision and hands out of the backfield, but also being able to run downfield and get yards.
That vision makes the 2020 a little bit better on the Twitter handle, too.
Yes, I'm not the type to bounce around and run.
At least you didn't say, I think I'm humble. Which is fantastic. I'm kidding with you, man. It's great. So from a defensive perspective, since I'm a defensive guy and you're going to play a little free safety, talk a little bit about what the challenges are, especially because most of the teams in your league are going to play spread. So you're going to look at a lot of 4 and 5 wide receivers, spreads out there. What's the biggest challenge at safety in that regard?
I'd say probably the deep mans, because our corners, they haven't really gone to the varsity skill yet, so they're getting used to it. So that'll be a lot of like playing deep and like covering the guy that I'm not supposed to be guarding. So, yeah.
Well, you also got a pretty good one that just transferred in here to another safety. So,
Yes,
from a tandem perspective, you guys should be. You feel like you guys are going to kind of quarterback that defense a little bit?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The defense, the less experienced group of the two, offense, a lot of returning starters coming back. What do you think is going to be key for the defense to gel early in the season with all the newer faces on the defensive side of the ball?
I think they just got to play to win. I mean, that's what we're all about here, playing to win. And yeah, I got nothing. Sorry.
That's all right.
But obviously, football takes up a lot of time. Obviously, your schoolwork does, and all that's important. But one of the other things that's important is being able to get away from all that and being able to unwind and relax and get away. What do you do to get that kind of a release or escape?
Mostly just rest my body. I mean, I'm usually all football. So, yeah, I don't really watch a lot of TV or play video games, mostly sports.
Do you want to play at the next level?
Yes, sir. I have one offer right now from Cincinnati Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes and bringing some personality, which I always enjoy. Anytime. That's the one thing Terry will tell you. One of the fascinating things about what we do is we get to meet a lot of young people with a lot of really good personalities, and you're going to do well, young man. I know it.
Thank you.
So we appreciate your time, and we look forward to covering you this fall.
Thanks for having me.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
So that has been senior running back DeAndre Malone. Thanks for your time, DeAndre. We are now going to be joined by senior linebacker Mathew Sullivan.
More defensive guys. Awesome.
More defensive guys, yes. I think they have to send out for him.
They keep putting the headphones on right
Yeah.
on the mic. You can,
That's all right.
it's squelching.
So we have one of the wounded warriors now.
Luckily, that's a right-handed mic. Danny's being helpful.
It's a rarity.
Thank you.
So you got the bonus plan, Mathew. So now joined by Mathew Sullivan, senior linebacker. Mathew, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
First of all, let's address what's going on there. Broken collarbone.
Yeah.
How long?
6 to 8 weeks
6 to 8.
as of last week.
Okay, so you got some time yet. How did you hurt it in 7-on-7s or something?
Yeah, I was going for a ball and I stumbled and I landed right on it, so it broke immediately.
How frustrating is it? I mean, right now you're not being able to contribute with your teammates, but so how frustrating is it to have to be on the sideline instead of being out there with them?
Yeah, I'd love to be out there with my team, but if it had to happen, I'd like to happen early in the summer season so I can get back right before the season starts.
Mathew, you're one of a handful of returning starters on the defensive side of the ball. What do you think is your greatest attribute to that defense?
I think my greatest attribute is taking command, make sure everybody knows what they're doing, just so we're all playing as a whole and swarming to the ball as a team.
Yeah. And linebacker, do you play on the inside or the outside?
I played most of the outside last year, and I will mostly be playing a mix of both this year.
You guys play what, a 4-3 or 3-4? Base.
Last year we played a 3-4. I think we're going to do a little bit of both this year. So we're changing it up.
So mixing and matching defenses like that obviously is going to take a lot of not just physical, but also a lot of mental preparation from you guys. How are you guys going about that right now during the spring workouts and that?
Oh, we're just walking through every time, going over our plays, going over our formations, every time we get a chance.
From a defensive coaching perspective, what do you like most about the way the game is called for you guys on the field?
Especially for me, I like to come off the ball and blitz. And Coach Kissinger, our defensive coordinator, gave me the opportunity a lot last year, and I think I'll be able to do that a lot again this year.
Where do you feel your biggest strength is going to be on the defensive side of the ball this year?
Honestly, probably most likely our defensive backs, because we have a lot of skilled players coming in to help us out, like Jaylin, Woody, even DeAndre, and they're going to step up a lot with our pass game, and we're going to step up for our run game too. So it'll be a 1-2 punch like that.
Nice.
What do you think the defense has to do to establish themselves very early in the season?
We're just going to have to play physical, and we're going to have to take a lot of breaks because a lot of us are going to be playing both ways, and we're just going to have to push through that and hustle.
And you're in a conference where there's really no off weeks. So with guys going both ways, it's going to be key to get a break, but it's also going to be key to unity, everybody having each other's back.
Yeah.
As a returning starter, and for the people out there that don't really follow Perry's football program, why do you think you guys are so successful year in and year out?
It's basically a combination of our coaches pushing us and making sure we're ready every game in and game out for the season.
Yeah. What's it going to take for you guys to be able to take that next step, get to and possibly through a regional final this year?
We're going to stick to our game plan every week, and we're just going to try to push that much harder every week to get farther than we did last year.
What football player do you idolize?
Well, when I was younger, I used to look up to my uncles because they used to play at Lake Catholic, and they played at Ohio State too.
Yep.
They were pretty good.
I was
Yes.
like Catholic
They were
grad
pretty
myself.
good.
Yep.
Oh, he's one of those Sullivans.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were okay, man.
Yeah,
They were pretty good at the game. Yeah.
And really, really good on the defensive side of the ball.
I've heard a lot of stories.
I know this.
I can
know
tell you a
this.
few more, believe me.
I wouldn't want to get hit by him. I know that.
Very true.
Well, we really appreciate your time, and we look forward to covering you this fall. And get well soon, my man.
Thank you.
All right.
So that was senior linebacker Mathew Sullivan. And now we are going to be joined by one of the big uglies, senior offensive guard Noah Stevenson. Finally, some love for the offensive line.
He's got his tribe shirt on, so
There we go. Well, they're hitting. He likes to hit. It's all good.
He kind of got that Jordan Luplow thing going on.
There you
so.
go.
So we're now joined by senior offensive guard Noah Stevenson. Noah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's about time. We got all these skill guys. Finally, we get one of the big men up front.
That makes it
It's
all
about
happen.
time.
Yeah.
That makes it all happen.
There's a plethora of talent on the offensive side of the ball, but none of it really works without you and your line mates.
Yep.
Talk about the guys that you get into the trenches with.
They're all good. Jacob played last year for guard. He's moving to tackle this year. He might struggle a little bit, but he'll get through it. Jack on the other side of the tackle is going to be very good. Sean is going to be a junior. Should be good. He might get a little crazy sometimes, but it's good to have. And
Crazy offensive lineman. Yeah, that's
That's
a
a
good
good
thing to have.
And then our other guard should be Dylan Oberlin, which he didn't really play offensive line last year. He was usually a defensive player, but should be good.
Yeah. Well, you're the returning starter, so you're kind of the de facto leader. What do you think is your strongest attribute on an O-line, and what do you think is the biggest advantage of the O-line as a group?
I think my biggest attribute is pulling. I'm always fast coming out. I'm a good open field blocker. And I believe our screen plays will be good this year for our whole offensive line. The inside screen should be very good, and everything should be very good.
Strength of the group
Yeah.
would be what?
Everything, probably.
Okay.
Being your guys, everybody's got different levels of competition that they're dealing with. What do you guys do when you're going against each other every day in practice? What are you guys doing to raise your level of play for come Friday and Saturday nights?
We just push people very hard. We don't take any, we don't go soft on anybody. we go at each other very hard. That's what Coach Bez likes to see. So that's what we do.
And as the returning starter, you're obviously the de facto leader, like Terry had just said. What do you see as the biggest stumbling block, at least initially, getting the group to mesh together?
I believe talking during before the plays will be a big struggle in the beginning. Yeah. And then after the first couple of games, I believe we could get that down very easily and should be good to go.
And having a quarterback like Drew who can obviously move around a little bit, it's got to help, a young offensive line, don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What's been your biggest strength as a player over these last 4 years?
I believe Coach Best has helped me a lot with more hands-on stuff. Usually I lunge at players, but more of use my hands. I'm very good with that now.
What is your time here now, being a senior? What is your time here in that period? What has it meant to you, not just football-wise, but scholastic-wise, friendship-wise, all that? What has your time here meant?
It's meant a lot to me. Making friends, making new ones like Woody, our newcomer. New people last year, like Sean was new coming last year, and he's starting this year. That's very good for us. And let's see it.
Yeah. You talk a little bit about your offensive line coach, what he's like to play for.
Coach Bez, he's very strict on what we have to do. So every time we come off, he always asks us what's happening out there, because he really can't see since he's on the sideline. So we tell him, we fix it, and then we go out there the next time on offense and we do that thing.
All right. So, I'll ask Danny's question. What do you like to do with your free time? Football takes up a lot of time. School takes up a lot of time. When you get a little bit of downtime, what do you like to do?
I like to usually play some video games sometimes with my friends.
Any particular favorite?
Games?
Yes.
Probably right now, MLB or Fortnite right now.
I have one football question for you. Obviously, as I said earlier, the CVC is a football conference.
Yeah.
I mean, they play a lot of really good football. Is there anybody in particular, or maybe a team that you're looking forward to battling on the line of scrimmage?
Not really. I just go out there
game by game, right?
Yeah, I just go out there every night, just do my best.
Well, obviously, the skill guys get all the accolades, but without you guys, they don't do anything.
Yep.
And so we wish you and your line mates a very successful season, and we look forward to covering you come that season. So good luck to you, young man, and thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Senior offensive guard, Noah Stevenson. And now the big man. Thanks for your time, Noah. Head coach Matt Rosati is going to join us next. It's that time.
The main event.
I'd like to thank the weather gods for keeping the rain just away from us enough to pull this off.
Yes.
Coach, thank you. And Terry, this is the man that makes it go here.
This is the man that makes it go. We are now joined by Perry Pirate head coach Matt Rosati. Coach Rosati in his 12th year, 84-40. You've had a little bit of success, Coach.
Well, Terry, I probably told you the wrong stuff. My 13th year.
Okay.
And so.
All right, so it's a few more wins than
94,
I have.
94.
94.
Close to 100 here at Perry. So.
Beautiful.
So is that any good, Terry?
Yes. It's actually better than I thought, so that's outstanding. So, Coach, you've been able to take a program that was under legendary coach Bob Ridley, then followed up by Coach Elder, who had success here, had success at Avon. Now it's yours. You've put your stamp on it. You guys are what I like to call a P-cubed. You are a perennial playoff participant. There's a bullseye on your guys' back every Friday night. How do you manage to that?
Well, Terry, the most important thing that I can say on that topic is we're very fortunate to have some very good players. So when you're able to roll out guys that have the ability to produce and play at a high level, you got a chance every week, and we're very, very fortunate. Football is a very very important topic in this community, and our youth program does a tremendous job of getting these kids. They play from really from very young ages, flag football, tackle football, and they expect a win. So when they get to this level, when they come up to us, they've won, and they expect to continue to win. So there are high expectations all around.
Yeah. And speaking of the community, talk about the support that you get from the Perry community on a weekly basis.
Well, as you talked about with Coach Ridley, Coach Ridley means so much to this community. His name still does. There were so many people that have played for Coach Ridley and still know Coach Ridley, live in the community. Perry football means a great deal to a lot of people, not just from a football aspect, but from a community aspect. It brings everybody together, and that hasn't changed at all. There's a lot of tradition and a lot of pride that our kids take in representing the community, and we try to do our very best to do that every Friday night.
So, Coach, obviously you guys have won a lot of games, and you're known throughout the area as having one of the better offenses year in and year out. What would you attribute that to? Because like right now, you have a set of skill players that rivals pretty much anybody in the coverage area. So what is it about the skill players out here that makes your offense go?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I can say on that topic is that we really focus on developing their skills very early. So, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you this, from the 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, these kids all played flag football. They all played flag football together, where there's a heavy emphasis on throwing and catching the football, and that's pretty much all we do. We throw and catch, and we try to make them athletic as we possibly can from a very early age. We have an unbelievable strength and conditioning guy. He's also our defense coordinator, Mike Christinger, who's one of the best in the country at developing kids. And right now he works with 3rd and 4th graders, 3 days a week here during the summer, during the school year. I mean, we're working with these younger kids, developing their skill sets at a very early age, and that's been going on for almost, I would say, 9 years now, and we see the benefits. At every level, we have kids that can run and throw and catch, and they're very athletic. They may not be the biggest, but they're very skilled, and like I said, it's important to them, and they enjoy it, and we try to make it as fun as we can for them.
Having the successful run, the amount of success that you've had here, one thing that I think always tends to be a concern would be complacency setting in. How do you go about making sure that they stay hungry year in and year out?
Well, it's not really that big of a challenge to keep them motivated. It's just different approaches that we need to take. For example, this year our motto really is, don't be satisfied, that we're not satisfied with anything that we've accomplished. It really doesn't matter what other teams have done. What are we going to do this year? A couple of years ago, our motto was separation. We called it the summer of separation, that we weren't concerned about the 10 teams that we were playing on our schedule. We were concerned with the teams that we were going to be playing in the playoffs. Our goal was to go after the Steubenville guys, and we called it the summer of separation. No disrespect to any team that we played locally, but it wasn't about winning the conference. It was about going after the best of the best and try to be one of the best teams in the state of Ohio. So every year it's something different, and like I said, this year it's not being satisfied. We're not satisfied at all. Winning the conference 3 years in a row. Having a whatever it is, 25-game home winning streak. It really doesn't matter. We're not satisfied. We need to keep going because, like you said, people are coming after us all the time, and we expect it. And Riverside's going to give us a great challenge. Chardon, Madison, they're all Division II schools. Chardon's a Division III school, but Riverside and Madison, they're a lot bigger than we are. And but nobody cares. That's our motto. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Show up and let's go.
Yeah. Coach, you've done a great job over the years of keeping your kids. You don't hear of a lot of Perry kids at private or parochial schools. Do you think that you're successful because the kids stay, or do you think the kids stay because you're successful?
That's a great question. I think the the biggest thing, I think the reason why they stay is because we've developed relationships with them at a very early age. And they're comfortable with us. And I think the school, the community, there's really no reason to leave. Leave for what? Would be the question that I would pose to someone. What are you going? Where would you go, and where would it be better than what we have right here, as far as the school is concerned, the education, as far as the facilities, and as far as the program is concerned? I think it'd be hard to find a place better than what we have right here. But that's a great question. It really is.
Danny has he alluded very early on that the facilities here are first rate, and one of the first groups around here to actually have them. Talk about what kind of advantage that is from a coaching perspective to have the kind of facilities that you guys have that a lot of schools would envy.
Well, there's no question. The facilities that we have here are phenomenal, and the people that keep them up are unbelievable. This building's over 24 years old, but you can't find a piece of garbage on the floor. You can't find dust anywhere. Our staff does such a great job keeping everything up, and our administration has done a great job making sure that we have the funds to do the things that we need to do to run a successful program. We can't do these things. We can't have as much success without really good support, and that's one of the most important things that our administration understands, that football is a very important part of this community, and it's our success is their success. So there's a lot to it, but the facilities are first class, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we keep our kids.
Coach, you guys have a very grueling schedule throughout the board. I mean, we're heading one of the toughest conferences in this area. What do you do to keep your team fresh mentally and physically week in, week out?
That's a challenge that we definitely have. The biggest thing is that we try to develop as much depth as we possibly can at key positions. For example, if we were to talk about Jaylin Anderson, Jaylin has the potential to be a phenomenal two-way player, but we really don't put that burden on him. We'll use him defensively when we need to, but our goal is to play 15 games in a season, and in order to do that, you have to manage how many snaps these guys get. So, for example, if we're fortunate enough, and I know a couple years ago, of the 40 quarters that we played in the regular season, our starters really only played about 22 of the 40 quarters. And that allowed us to make a deep run because they weren't beat up. They weren't tired. They don't have to play both ways all the time. So the way in which we try to do it, it's sort of unique for a Division IV school to have, really we plan on playing maybe two guys both ways, maybe three. But it's not because of necessity. It's because that they're that talented. And that gives us a big advantage to try to play an extended season against quality teams.
In talking about depth, you guys lost one of the best kickers, arguably, in your program, in Samson Augustine. Is anyone going to be able to replace the type of consistency he has produced over these last 4 years?
Well, Samson did a phenomenal job. There's no question. And believe it or not, we have a number of kids that we hope to be good kickers, but Samson put so much time into it, and he was so efficient. It's going to be a tough guy to lose, but if you asked who wants to kick, we got about 12 kids that are going to raise their hands, and I'll say that they're going to be the next kicker. But Schiano is a really, really good kicker, believe it or not. He's just a phenomenal athlete. Anything he does well. And then we have a couple of soccer guys that are pretty good as well. That Calvin Rowan, if you recognize the name from wrestling, Kyle Rowan and Calvin Rowan. They're the types of kids that they can kick for us at any time because they're winners. They understand what pressure is like, and that's sort of an important part when we look for a kicker. Drew's been through the wars. Nothing's going to rattle him. Somebody like Calvin Rowan, we're hoping he's going to be a sophomore, and he's somebody that's used to pressure, and hey, it's not a big deal. 3,000 people playing in front of him and having to make a big kick. So that's a big part of what we're looking for, and losing Samson is definitely going to be lost, but we think we're going to try our best to replace him.
Coach, in all your years of coaching, what has been the most rewarding thing for you personally in all your time?
The most rewarding thing for me is to see kids come back, to have kids to have a kid come out of out of the stands before a game that played for you years before, and to say hello and to reminisce is really, truly one of the most satisfying things as an educator and as a coach. The impact that I've had, that they've had on me and that I've had on kids, seeing their faces and reminiscing with them is truly the most rewarding part of what I do.
Coach, you've obviously been at this a very long time. How has the game changed in your tenure, not only here at Perry, but your entire time you've been coaching?
Well, one of the biggest things that we're seeing, and I speak on this topic quite a bit about how the game is changing and where it's headed compared to where it's been is very interesting. But as from my viewpoint, the way in which we practice is definitely so much different than, quote unquote, the old days. We very seldom hit, where back in the quote unquote old days, that's pretty much what we did, all of the time, every single day, and whatever you had left, you went out and played. And that's really not the mentality of today's football. Today's football, we like I said, we very, very seldom hit in practice. And, as far as like practice length and things like that, back in the day, having 2-a-days meant that you were going to practice for, 2.5 hours one practice and then 2.5 hours the next practice. It doesn't work that way with the kids of this generation. If you're going to get an hour and a half of quality practice, you'll call it, hey, that's great. It's a lot different than what it used to be.
Have you found from a staying healthy perspective that the change in philosophy has helped football grow? Keeping kids healthy now instead of like you said in the old days, in the Stone Age when I used to play, and where you'd be banging heads, like you said, every chance you got. Yeah,
the difference is that when we played back in the day and you got hurt, there was no option. You played anyway, and you sucked it up, and you were tough, and that's what you did. Today, it's a different world. If whatever the injury may be, we have quality medical people, and they are going to take a look at it, and they're going to make sure that you are, totally ready to go. Where back in the day, we didn't have trainers.
No, it was how many fingers am I holding up? I'm holding up fingers. Good.
Yeah, let's go. You were expected to be tough, and that was part of the game. Yep. Where in today's day and age, obviously for the safety of the athletes, it's a lot different mentality, and therefore the way in which we practice, obviously, it's a different mindset. It's a different world. When a kid does get hurt, most of the time, very seldom are you going to have a kid that's going to be, hey, I'm ready to go. They want to make sure that they're okay as well, and as they should be. So,
Coach, I have a couple of questions. The first is, so the upsides of the way practice has changed, being healthier, fresher, better medical care. Is there a downside to the fact that you're doing less hitting?
Sure, definitely. From a toughness aspect of things, when you are involved in a very physical football game, a lot of times, especially down the stretch, your team, if they're not experienced, it's gonna take its toll at the end, especially if the other team they're coming at you in waves. If the kids aren't used to being as physical for 4 quarters, that's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. And that's very difficult to practice. You can't practice it. So really it's a week by week. You hope to build them up to a point where you get to the playoffs where they're used to being physical for extended period of time. But it's a definite challenge. It's not like it used to be.
Okay. And then the second question, you had talked earlier about some of your mottos, one of those having been separation. What are the 1 or 2 things that you want a Matt Rosati coach football player to take to the next level, but also into life to help separate themselves?
Sure. We call them the pillars. We actually have 10 things, and there are really 10 things, and I'll share a couple of them with you. I mentioned one already, nobody cares. So, and that is the motto of our football program. We don't care. It doesn't matter if your toe hurts. It doesn't matter if your girlfriend broke up with you today, so on and so forth. You know what? The bottom line is you have a job to do, and at this point in time, you need to do your job. Nobody cares. Do your job every single day, because when you have a wife and 3 kids and the mortgage is due and you've got the flu, Nobody cares. You've got a job to do. Get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me how. Don't ask me. No, you have a job. Do your job. And that mindset is definitely one of the biggest parts of our football program, and it's a mentality that we have, and our kids say it back to you all the time. And that's one thing that we really, really hang our hat on. And there are a few. Another slogan we'll have is you'll either how will you be remembered, or how will you remember it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really big from a historical aspect. How are you going to be remembered when people mention your name? How are you going to remember this experience? Those types of slogans we use all of the time with our kids, and we have 10 of them, 10 things that we call them the pillars that we hang our whole program on.
Follow-up question then, what will make this year's squad memorable?
The biggest thing that'll make this squad memorable is our relentlessness towards greatness, that we have to really, really apply ourselves and get after it together. We have to do things together, and we have to do it at an unbelievable level, at an unbelievable pace that other teams can't match. And we have to be relentless at everything we do.
Coach, you have a couple of multi-sport athletes on the team. One of the things that we've kind of noticed over the years is it's been more and more getting away from that, and everyone kind of focusing on and specialization in that. What are your thoughts on that direction, or do you encourage them to do multiple sports? Or
there's no doubt about it. Here at Perry, for example, you interviewed 7 guys, all 7 play basketball. Our kids run track, they wrestle. Most of our kids are at least 2 sport athletes. There are very few people here at Perry that specialize, and a lot of it has to do with our athletic director, TJ Rockwell, and the coaches here in this building. We all support each other. We all understand that for the betterment of the kids, they need to do a number of different things, not just one thing. So there are some kids that should specialize. There really are. And if they don't have the skill or the ability, because this is a very competitive situation, to play on our basketball team, you better be a stud. And there are some kids that may not be at that level. And if they don't like wrestling, then so be it. Then they may not be participating there. But if they want to go run track or do whatever, we encourage our kids to do as many things as they possibly can, and we support them 100%. But in some situations, there are kids that just play football, and so be it. But most of our kids, you're going to see, especially our really talented kids, they're all multi-sport guys.
As I said earlier, Coach, your teams have always been known as one of the better offensive teams in the area. Talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball and how difficult it is to prepare for these spread offenses, these multiple wide receiver sets and all of that week to week, especially in a conference like you guys play in, which has a lot of high-powered offenses.
Yeah, the biggest challenge being you need to match athlete with athlete. And, for example, we're very fortunate. We have a lot of skilled athletes, so we can play an up-tempo spread type of thing. And it's very difficult for other people to match the athletes that we have. But, hey, there'll be times where, for example, when we play Chardon and Chardon wants to run the football every single play, a lot of times we're not built for that. We'd rather have you let our athletes cover your athletes. And the challenges become when you play so many diverse teams that can run the football, pass the football, having a total team where, hey, you do have big physical guys and you have skilled athletes. When you have them both, that's great. But and you'll be pretty darn good. But trying to match up is always an issue, especially defensively. And we've had our challenges playing against really good offenses over the years. But if you have the mindset that you're going to be a physical group and you develop that mindset and you have some skilled athletes, you pretty much can line up and play against anybody.
Can you, just for everybody out there, kind of walk us through like what a typical day would be preparation-wise? I mean, you're talking about having to prepare for all these different things. There's a lot of time in the film room, a lot of time previewing that you and your assistants have to do. How much time is that involved for you guys as a coaching staff, and just kind of let everybody know that, some of the behind the scenes stuff, it's not just
Sure.
at practice.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do things differently than a lot of other schools, and we talked about an old school mentality versus a new school mentality. I'm I've had this conversation with Coach Trevisano before, as far as how they do things and how we do things, and there's a difference. Our philosophy is that basically on Saturday when we come in, where most teams, coaches are going to break down the film, they're going to do all kinds of different things, and sometimes they won't get home till 8, 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday. Not the case at all for us. When we come in on Saturday, we're going to watch the JV game, and we're not even going to watch the film together as a team. We don't do that. Our guys go home. They're going to, play with their kids. They're going to do whatever, watch college football all day long, and I need to do that as well, because I guarantee I didn't sleep real well, win or lose. I didn't sleep real well on Friday night, and Saturday I really just used to go through things and try to just live life a little bit. And Sunday, usually by Sunday afternoon, I'll call our coordinators, and we'll have a conversation about, by that point in time, we've watched film. I've watched film on my own. I really don't like to watch film with other people. And our coaches, they all have their own rituals. And by Sunday night, we have a conversation over the phone about how we're going to approach things and what we really need to focus on and do. And we build our practice plan from there. For the kids, we'll cut things up. There are only certain things we want them to see. If there's because of the technology that we have today, we really can really become very specific about what we want certain kids to see and not see. So we'll make cut-ups that they need to be, for each kid, we'll make specific cut-ups, what they need to be aware of and what their responsibilities are going to be for the upcoming week, and some things that there may be 3 or 4 plays that we want them to watch what they did last week. We're not watching the entire film with the entire team. Mm-hmm. We're only going to pull certain things out that we want them to focus in on, and that pretty much dominates our week. And then on Monday is a big work day for us. We have a lot of teams take Monday as more of a walkthrough, not us. We practice on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is the only time we'll actually have live hitting for a very short period of time. We call it transition. We treat it like a game, and then that's it. Then Thursday we just have a quick walkthrough, and then we come out and play Friday. But we really try to stop all contact really by Tuesday is a light contact day. Wednesday, like I said, we only hit for maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and then that's it. So we try to keep our kids as fresh as we possibly can. We don't want them banging away on Wednesday, running like crazy on Thursday. So a lot of times we don't even go out on the field on Thursdays. We'll just go through a walkthrough and be done. So we're a little different from a lot of schools in that way.
And, a program is only as good as their depth. And obviously you guys have had, waves, I would say, of players that have come. Are there 1 or 2 maybe underclassmen that you're very much looking forward to taking into the varsity level this year and helping you guys win a little bit?
There's no question. For us, we found that a lot of our success, the fewer sophomores that we have to play, the more success we're going to have. And when you're playing sophomores as a luxury, not of a necessity, you're going to be really, really good. And we're fortunate enough right now that we have some sophomores right now that are going to be able to help our upperclassmen at a high level. And these kids are not your normal kids. We have a young man named Jaylin Richards who set the went to state in the pole vault. Jumped I believe 13.6 as a freshman and placed at the state track meet. Phenomenal athlete.
You guys always have good pole vaulters.
Well,
so you had a football player here a couple of years, Loria.
Yeah, Nick Loria won the state championship.
He's at UC.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and he's at UC, and we've had Lane Richards, who coaches football for us. Mm-hmm. He's the head track coach, and he's an expert in the pole vault. And his son is, I'm telling you, I guarantee he's got 4 sons, and probably every one of them is going to win a state championship with the pole vault. But Javin is a tremendous athlete. Aiden Leflock, Brock Savan. We have a lot of really nice sophomores coming up that
it's a nice luxury to have.
In years past, they've had to go out and play, and they weren't ready. And now we're fortunate enough to be at the point where they'll play when they are ready, and that makes a huge difference because a lot of the teams that we do play, they're playing kids that aren't ready to deal with what they're going to have to deal with. And a lot of times physically they're just not ready, and it's not a good situation. I've been there in my 24 years as a head football coach. I've run guys out against teams that we had no business playing, and it's a tough situation to put kids that aren't ready in. And like I said, we're very fortunate. If we're going to play a sophomore now, it's because he's that talented that he's going to step out on the field for us.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question about the schedule, Coach. A little bit of change this year. No Beechwood, no St. Vincent, St. Mary. And I know for you guys that St. Vincent, St. Mary game has kind of become a measuring stick for you guys. Big win last year. I think a couple of years ago you had a big win, I think in the playoffs, if I remember correctly. Them not being there this year, how much does that kind of change what the whole schedule brings from a preparation standpoint for week 11?
Well, that was, like you said, Terry, that was our measuring stick. So when we played St. Vincent, St. Mary week 6, we were at the point of our year. We had Jaylin back. Jaylin missed a number of games. He had knee surgery, and we needed to see if we were going to be an elite team, if we could play at an elite level. St. Vincent, St. Mary was they were a Final Four, and they had everyone back. And we knew having them here on our field, this was going to be a really big football game, and we could tell if we were going to be able to compete at the highest level. And not having them on the schedule, that becomes an issue, because we're really not going to know how good we truly are. Our first 3 games are huge games for us, and they're all against quality opponents. And but we're not going to be the same team after week 3 as week 10. And so it's going to be an interesting measuring stick. We're going to have to find out at some point in time how good we really are. And St. Vincent St. Mary gave us that answer last year.
Right.
I got one kind of rides a little the one I asked earlier about your time in that, and you mentioned on Saturdays you get out and live life. How do you go about going and living life like that?
Well, the biggest thing that I do on Saturdays, I really do enjoy. I love watching college football. I really do. Just to be able to sit down by myself and watch college football. But usually on a Saturday, my youngest daughter, she's a little tennis player, and usually I'll go play tennis with her, and we'll go to the store, we'll do whatever, and then usually by 6-7 o'clock for the late game, I'm going to be able to sit down and watch that game. My wife usually works. She works at night quite a bit on Saturdays and Sundays, so it gives me a lot of football time, and I do definitely enjoy my football time where I can just sit down and watch. But during the season, me being able to get out and, like I said, hit tennis balls, and I run quite a bit, so I cut the grass on Saturdays, because during like my grass, I have 25 acres of land, and yeah. Needless to say that
Zero-turn riding mower and get lost for an hour, huh, Coach?
Well, not an hour. It usually takes me 7 hours to cut the grass. So finding that time to get out on the farm and do some things, it's a great opportunity for me to think and just decompress a little bit.
I'm going to ask you the father question. How is it to share this experience with your son?
Well, it means a lot to me to have my son here with me, because and really I have 3 children, and I brought them to Perry so I could be part of their lives in every aspect. And having my son here for his entire football existence means a lot to me. And for his senior year, it's really special to see my son have success and grow up with these guys. But it definitely is something that I truly do understand and appreciate.
Who has been the biggest mentor for you to become the head coach you are today?
The biggest mentor for me would I have a few mentors. There were guys at the college level that I really looked up to. Bo Schembechler. Some guys know Bo Schembechler. Other guys have no idea.
He won a few games.
Yeah, he won a few games.
I would like to know who doesn't know who Bo Schembechler is.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, you'd be surprised.
A lot of the kids on his team, maybe.
Yeah, younger guys, probably not. Yeah.
Well, and for example, if you look up above us, guys, you'll see those who stay will be champions.
Yeah, that's a Bo Schembechler.
And that is a Bo Schembechler, and Coach Ridley played for Coach Schembechler, and I had all the respect in the world as a young coach for Coach Ridley and his staff. Guys like Mike Ryan, Pat Janelle, Mark
Lake County A guys.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
played ball with both of those
Yeah.
guys. We both played against them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great guys.
Phenomenal men.
Yes.
And that's they were
Men's men. Men's
Yes.
men.
Yes, doing things the right way, doing things with respect and respect for others, and understanding that we're educators first,
Mhm.
and that's always been a very important aspect of everything that I do. That I pride myself on being a great teacher, and yes, I have the opportunity to coach and do the things that I do. But as a teacher, I take a great deal of pride in what I do, and I hope that the kids here at Perry understand that they view me as a teacher before they view me as a coach, and that's always been my goal. But Coach Ridley definitely was an impact. Bo Schimbeckler, guys like Bob Doyle. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Coach Doyle, legendary football coach at Schiano. I had an opportunity to be with him for 1 year, and I learned an awful lot of football from he and his staff, Jim DePolfi, and some great coaches.
Lake County A guy, the DePolfi.
Oh yeah. So if you played Lake County baseball,
absolutely.
I
I was teammates with all of those guys.
Yeah.
So. But Coach, you talk about the kids knowing you as a teacher as well as a coach. But 7 young men here tonight, well-spoken, great examples of what you're trying to be for this program and for this school. So I think you should be commended for that.
Thank you. They're tremendous kids, and I've been so blessed to have such good quality kids. And we like to say it, our principal, Todd Purcello, we like to say it is all about the kids, that everything we do should be for these kids. And we're very blessed to have really good kids, and I think they appreciate the and they've always shown so much respect for us to allow us to do the things we do with them. So I have so much. I'm so grateful to the kids that we have for letting us do the things we do, because we ask a great deal of them, and they show up every single day with smiles on their faces. So we're very, very blessed.
Well, we really appreciate you taking some time with us and, answering our call and allowing us to come out here and cover your program. And we look very much forward to covering you guys this fall. Obviously, you guys are one of the premier programs in the area, and I don't see that being any different this coming fall. And we appreciate your time, Coach, and best of luck as the season progresses.
Well, guys, thanks so much for having us, and really, we truly do appreciate it. Anytime our kids get to talk and be seen, I guarantee their parents love it. The community loves it, and mark my words, guys, 2000. It'll be done by the night. It'll be more than 2,000.
I love this. Setting the bar real high. It's beautiful.
So this has been the 2019 high school football preview show with the Perry Pirates. I'm Pat Langdon.
I'm Danny Boyce.
Terry Heil.
Jimmy Simonis.
And we'll see you tomorrow night from our regular show at Lino's,
That's
7
right.
o'clock. See you.